Good morning. Yep. Hello, hello, hello to everyone out there. Time for another Shadowrun Hong Kong live stream. Um, I'm in a much better mood this week than I was last week. Much better mood. Much more well rested. So, should go pretty well this week. I'm thinking, need to look and see what the other assignments we have available are, but I'm thinking we'll probably do I think it's the Rooster Lao one. That one's pretty simple and straightforward. And it'll be, trying to think of the word. Good one to do before we start getting into some of the other weirder ones. Okay, let's see. So yeah, we're gonna do the Kidnap Rooster Lao one. Let's see about maybe getting better armor before we go. Versus a bit better survivability. Okay, so we can't afford the operative gear yet. You can get the shot gear, which is better than what we are using, I believe. Yeah, 3 more armor. Yep, always good to survive. Survive and thrive. Run, I remember we also have the last time we got a cyberware arm. Yeah, the one that automatically flings back grenades. So our survivability has increased quite a bit. Bring these 3 along. Yep, side quest. The game's basically made up of a bunch of side quests, and then with main quests dotted in there to continue the storyline. Let's see. A tangle of marine Dokram, restless lights, ambrosial scents mingle atop a floating quay to extend to the Shangri-La Aberdeen Harbor premier dining location. With competitive views of the surrounding bay, the restaurant attracts a steady crowd of tourists, Wu Jing professional. The primary moneyman of the 289s, Xing Sang, Rooster Lao, is enjoying a rare meal outside the triad-held territory. Intel says he's set up in one of the restaurant's private dining rooms, but he's not alone. Rooster keeps a personal bodyguard, the notorious orc called the Talon, in addition to his regular security detail. You've seen photos of the Talon's handiwork. Bodies so battered it's hard to tell where one bruise ends and the next begins. Your mission: locate Rooster, extract him from the Shangri-La, and deliver him to your client alive. Simple, fast, low profit. Of course, even the simplest of runs can go sideways. Guy with brain issues. Give her that. Give that to Duncan. She's already using that. Okay. Yeah, it's a big code. That's fine. I like the code. Let's see. Stepping into the interior hallway of the Shangri-La, you're confronted by a massive wall of troll. The restaurant's front door security. He speaks with surprising eloquation. Welcome to the Shangri-La. We strive to provide our partners with an exquisite dining experience. If you have any questions or require special accommodations, please don't hesitate to speak to our staff. Looks like I got pick of the tables. I'm sorry, but this is not a seat-yourself establishment. If you'd like to choose where you sit, I suggest you make a reservation for one in the private room upstairs. He looks you up and down, frowns. Please keep in mind that any disturbances would be promptly escalated by our security. We reserve the right to bar service to unruly partners. Thank you. Enjoy your meal. Thanks. A waitress swamped with orders is caught unaware by your approach. Oh, welcome to the Shangri-La, sir. Our hostess will seat you as soon as she gets back. You're welcome to wait in the lodge. This will only take a second. A loud exhalation escapes her nose and her eyes dart towards the kitchen. She mutters, Buster's empty smile nods in false hospitality. Alright. Absolutely, sir. What do you need? I'm looking for someone named Mr. Lau. He has a reservation here tonight. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that name. I bet a hard-working waitress like yourself is good with faces. You certainly remember this man. He travels with a big orc, has a nasty scar on his cheek. She fiddles with her scratch pad and eyes the, they use a lot of big words that I'm not sure how to pronounce. Plenteous. I guess that's right. I've just never seen the word spelled out, I guess. Orders scrawled across the top page. After a moment of consideration, she speaks. I might know the orc if he's who I'm thinking of. He only comes around a couple times a year. I've never served him, but I heard he gets really pushy with the other waiters. Pushy, huh? Why's that? He's allergic to shellfish, I think. We got so many orders, sometimes mistakes are made. It's a bad restaurant if you're making mistakes about people's allergies. A hint of fear flashes across her face. Ah, I didn't just say that. I can assure you our service is second to none. She nervously peeks over her shoulder. Come on now, you must have heard where the orc and Mr. Lau are eating, since you have to make sure allergy-related orders get to the right place. Sir, this is the Shangri-La. We have over 24 private dining rooms in addition to our main dining floor. As I've already said, I've served out here. Your friend could be in any of the other rooms. Now, excuse me, I need to place these orders. Enjoy your meal. With that, she wheels around and marches towards the kitchen. So let's see, we got some information from that. Now we know the guy has an allergy. Yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. Let's see. A well-dressed man sits alone at the bar, elbows propped atop the counter. His face is hard, eyes blank. He swirls the contents of his half-empty glass as if in a stupor. Between the swollen eyes and whiskey double, it isn't hard to guess his mood. As he approaches, he rubs his temple and glances at you with sideways glances, almost on his breath. Yeah, not like I can dig myself any deeper. Rough day? He's He looks at you again through dull, bloodshot eyes, but his gaze drifts elsewhere before returning to his drink. Lost 2 contracts, missed a third, late for a meeting, and publicly shamed by my co-worker. All doing 9 to 5. New record as far as I can tell. Takes a long pull from his glass, exhales. At least I got that going for me. How'd you lose your contracts? Wish I knew. One that was almost a done deal, but for some reason the client suddenly changed their tune, and the contract slipped away before I could officially close it. The other 2 contracts were for ongoing clients, people I've worked with for years, but I somehow forgot about their annual renewal dates, and a more diligent coworker picked them up. I got no credit for the long-term partnership with those clients. If anything, I know it looked worse for losing them, even though I bought them into Wu Jing in the first place. He leans back and lets out a worried groan. His breath reeks of alcohol. Sounds like too many coincidences to me. Think someone's working against you? You kidding me? Everyone's at each other's throats in this business. He downs the rest of his drink. Signals to the bartender in a single movement. The bartender leans over and refills his glass. Fair. But is there someone who would have benefited most from what happened to you? He considers this. The newcomer, David. He nods his head towards a group at the end of the bar, an elf at the center of it, him. He came out of nowhere and has become a rock star with the upper management. He's been making connections and deals like a Wu Jing veteran. Like me. That's odd. You're telling me you want to know what I think? He leans towards you, glassy eyes looking through you to who knows where else. The scent of booze wafts off him. I think he's got family connections, people in high places, and he's been using them to his advantage. He backs off and shrugs, rocking precariously on his chair. I don't know. It's just a thought. You might be onto something. He grunts and stares into his drink. No, it's just wistful thinking. Well, I'm going to find out. I think I have to cause a fight between these two before I can get the shellfish, or I'll get caught. David is all smiles. He says finished a joke to the uproarious laughter of his party. Hello, friend, trying to get in on this joviality? You're welcome to join us for the next round. His words bleed into each other. This isn't his first drink. What are we celebrating? My recent success. Through some hard work and a little business persuasiveness, he winks at you only. I still 2 contracts and a third is on the way. Hey, congratulations. Next round's on me. Here's to a real friend. Come on, let's drink. He slams back a shot and hoots with satisfaction. Thank you, good sir. From one friend to another, how did you bag all those contracts in one day? A fresh flush fills David's cheeks. He wobbles on the spot and grins at you. Wasn't too hard, truth be told. Someone did most of the work for me. See that poor sod down there? He gestures to Henry. We just upgraded our security at work. A few nights ago, that fool left behind a note containing his new password. I wrote it down and had some fun. Sent nasty messages to his client. Removed a couple appointments from his schedule. David tosses his hands in the air, spilling his drink, and boom, I'm Employee of the Month. All I had to do was some damage control, but that man's clients are now mine. Nicely done. Very clever, my friend. His cocky smile stretches across his all too proud face. I think so too. Thanks again for the drink, friend. Hey, before, these guys are right on the edge. Both blasted, one pissed off, the other, well, an asshole. One word and these would be thrown down. That happens loud enough. Security is bound to respond. Just a thought. See if I can mess with the order before. See, an open program. Tracking food orders in their respective tables. Flicker steadily on the computer screen. AccuServe. See list containing dozens of orders pop up. Only a handful are from the upper floor's private dining room. On the note on the second floor order stands out. Floor 2, private room 3, VIP party of 5. Standard C food buffet. Okay, the surf and turf. Let's see. Inside the file is a series of notes on guests and the restaurant operations. You scroll through today's notes. Several servers have written about their concerns regarding tonight's lack of security, and a couple are frustrated with the curious guests wandering up to the second floor private dining rooms. The rest is useless information. A menu pops up with options to view or place orders. Following the menu in the dining room chart that's been broken down to serving zones. A large comp button in the upper right hand corner has a lock over it. Seems people were being too liberal with the free drinks. Unfortunately, it looks like you need the server's code to place an order. So let's see. A heaty aroma of spices and sweat bombards your senses as the cooks move through the kitchen, scents churn in their wake, some cheap, some sharp, some sweet, some altogether unfamiliar, but all delicious. The chef barks an order to his assistant searing fish, then whirls around muttering feverishly to himself. He stops short once he notices you stand in the door. I told them I need an extra server, not a hobo. Shoo. He gestures towards the door and turns to tasting an array of sauces. The chef peers at you over a mound of oysters. No guests in the kitchen. Out. Adequate socialite. Aren't you Yang Lao Su? World of your magnificent cuisine has spread even as far as Seattle. It's an honor to meet you in person. His demeanor relaxes. Ah, fellow epicure. I suppose I can make time for a fan all the way from, where'd you say, Seattle? Quite the trip you made. What is it you need, sir? Won't keep you long. Just a question. Just make it quick. You got 60 seconds before I have to pull these prawns out of the boiler. I'm told one of tonight's guests has a shellfish allergy. A less than mild-mannered orc. Sounds familiar? That's a polite way to put it. Give two of my cooks broken ribs and a matching set of black eyes last time he stormed my kitchen. He waves his hand. Yes, I know that orc. Got a shellfish allergy he's overly keen on hounding us about, as though this wasn't the top seafood restaurant in the sixth world. Right, so what would it take for him to wind up with a few shrimp in his meal tonight? What? He balks at your suggestion. After a moment's recovery, he looks straight at you, nostrils flared. You can't possibly be saying what I think you are. You want me to poison the diner? You're deranged. I'm calling security. Haven't you noticed the lack of guards tonight? I've no doubt Wu Jing's aware I'm here. It's as if they want to turn someone out of the way. Are you going to disappoint them? The chef nervously wrings his towel between his hands, stares at the scrumptious plates of food waiting to be eaten. I glance over his shoulder, a shake of his head, and he smiles. A small, wary thing. You know, you never appreciated our cuisine, our art. I think a special thanks is in order. See yourself out, won't you? Now let's go tell Henry about what we found out. Henry glazes into the tall drunk in front of him. You came back. Listen, that David prick you mentioned, turns out he broke into your work terminal and sent your client some nasty messages in your name. Then he swooped in and stole them. A spark of sobriety washes over Henry. The dullness in his eyes drain away and he sits up alarmed. That explains why no one would return my messages. With a grunt, he smashes his fist onto the counter. He turns towards David and mutters through clenched teeth. He wants to play dirty. I can handle that. I can handle him. He jumps up and marches towards David. He and David stand inches from one another, both men wearing the fiercest expressions they can muster. Their hatred is the most palatable. How their confrontation will play out is unclear, but one thing is certain. You have a great seat. David stabs a finger into David's chest and speaks in a low hiss. You stole my business. I know it. You might have picked this fight, but I'm going to win it. Fair and fucking square. Show you how those with integrity operate, you cheat. David's mouth eases into a content smirk. You want to lose face twice in one day? I'm happy to oblige, but not here. I'd be damned if Shangri-La bans me for thrashing a worthless crab stain like you on their property. Now let's finish this outside, now. Fine, but don't think this gives you any sort of advantage. It only means I won't have to hold back. Let's go. Okay. Any other optional directives? The Nard bar still offers little in the way of comfort. A quick look around reveals the disparity between the restaurant proper and the bar, the latter of which appears neglected in comparison to the pristine dining room. Oh, dried, dank rags dapple the counter's uneven surface, and angry scratches run down its length. But you've got time to kill before Rooster arrives, and this is a good spot as it needs to wait. Let's have a seat and wait. The men stick away. Rooster should be here any time now. An alarmed waiter in a tousled uniform stumbles to the kitchen. Chief, we have a problem, a big problem. Cut the drama, Cork Mage. We're working here. We got a fight out front in a sick diner, and you're still in here glazing dumplings? Our second floor guest is pissed. His head is here disputing up prawns and looking for someone to blame. Better brace yourself for a mouthful of fists. A howl and several thumbs catch the cooking staff's attention. Apprehensive glances are tossed around the kitchen. Their fear audibly confirmed as a huge orc bursts into the room. The jagged scar on the orc's cheek matches your client's description of Talon. Our wood of the Talon's face was in a lumpy, swollen mess. The Talon's face flashes in anger, or perhaps as a side effect of his allergy, and he raises a knobby finger into the room. What is wrong with this place? His swollen lips spit more saliva than sounds. Chef. Excuse me, sir. You're holding the kitchen up. If you have any questions or concerns, speak to our host up front. He rounds on the chef, shoulders raised in disbelief. I got a concern tonight. Concern regarding the shit you call a restaurant. His voice booms. This is the third time you slopheads have fucked up my order. If I'm regularly forced to choke down your garbage, I expect at least some substitutions to be followed. No shellfish. Get it right, or next time's gonna end up a whole lot worse than maimed. Duncan turns to you, eyebrow raised. And you call me short-fused? Maybe now you'll think twice for ragging on me when things heat up. Oh no, I'll never stop ragging on you, Duncan. Huh. If Talon's down here, that means he's left the upstairs room unguarded. You're right. Let's go while he's still distracted. Inside the private room, you're immediately greeted by the piercing stare of two massive dragon statues. The flickering lights are just bright enough to illuminate their bronze bodies. The effect, an eerie illusion of slithering scales. Across the room stands your target, Shang Tsing Rooster Lao, hands trembling at his side. A single anxious guard stands next to the door. Something has them on edge. The Talon is missing. Sweat drips down Rooster's gaunt face. His eyes dart back and forth across the room, trying to size you up, assessing the situation. Without support, he appears nothing more than a trapped rooster who, without his talons, is defenseless. In an effort to invoke a sense of authority, he raises his voice. Who are you? What do you want? If you please come with me, we can make this easy. And don't try to argue. You're in poor position with the talon missing. His anger flares. How dare you speak to me as if I were a child? Zhu, where's the Talon? Where's the rest of my security? A second passes while his eyes scour the room, looking for someone anyone's come to his aid. Never mind you. Get this street tramp out of here. Yes, sir. No Talon, no backup, all alone. You must really like your boss. He glances at Rooster. Not exactly, no. He begins to slowly back towards the door. In fact, you can have him. Good boy. That's some loyalty for you. No, wait, spare my life, I beg you, please. Drops of spit splatter from his mouth, his desperation obvious. Stop that, I'm here to take you alive, don't make me change my mind. Listen, Seattle, we may have Rooster but these stiffs are probably just a handful of his guards. He can have more downstairs. We can't leave the same way we came in. We're going to get out of here in one piece. We need to find a new exit route fast. And I'm betting this chicken guy knows one. So how about it? Where's the door you used to discreetly make your way in here? Rooster's teeth are chattering inside his head. His frame shakes uncontrollably. The realization that he's at your mercy, with no one left to defend him, is setting in. Well, Mr. Lau, mind pointing us to the exit? Rooster stammers incoherently for a moment, but his words soon catch up with him. It's just outside this room to the right, but it's locked. And you have the key, don't you? He blinks, confused, his shocked mind slowly processing your implication. Yes, I do. He reaches into his coat pocket and withdraws a small key. I'll take that. Okay. We can open this door now. A monolithic engraved aquarium dominates the restaurant's lounge. Awakened sea and enemies open and close along the tank's rocky bottom, unfurling to reveal a riotous explosion of color. It's like a natural fireworks display. The upper reaches the tank. Multicolored fish of all shapes and descriptions circle and swim. Schools of tiny prawns dart in and out of the rocks as skate-like things that the size of koi glide through the water above them. Something like a lionfish made of bronze beats its frilly tail, causing the shifts of light to reflect and refract through the water. Some of the animals in the tank must be exceedingly rare and expensive. Grab a fish. Some of these have sharp-looking teeth, John, but if you want to be bitten, be my guest. Don't worry, I've got it. He shrugs. Your call. You pop open a feeding port on the side of the tank. After a few seconds of splashing around, you grab a spined fish with large fins. A moment later, you plop into a hydrogen bladder that you found in a dispenser on the side of the tank. The fish stares at you, bobbing its head against the simmering plastic, secure in its bladder. It should survive until you find a buyer after the run. I got 50 yen for that. Probably, and I'm lucky, it probably is poisonous, and I'm very lucky I didn't die from that. Your comm link clicks, a burst of static. Then the sound clears to reveal a soft voice. Evil 4, is this your channel? Sure is. Name's Pelon. I'm your getaway driver. We have details to discuss, but let's keep it brief. Time's ticking. Another burst of static, and Pelon continues. I'm at the loading docks across the bridge from the restaurant's main entrance. Big old schooner. Can't miss me. Schooner. But neither will the HKPF, who I've just learned are on their way here to respond to a security call. Well, shit. I'm on the way. One last thing. I may be a driver, but this ain't my rig. Door's locked and I don't know the code. You might have to break in. Good luck and get moving. They click and your comlink fills a stack. Pelon is gone. A pair of triad gangsters block your path. Men, help me. The words start pouring out of Rooster's mouth so quickly that they blur together. You free me, get me away from here, and I'll guarantee your reward. Neon's favors power whatever you want. The two guards exchange a look and turn back to Rooster, smiling. Actually, we're liking the position we're in now. You begging at our feet. The idea that maybe once you're gone, we can move up the chain. You know, Rocco here, plenty qualified to take your seat. In fact, you might as well make sure you don't make it out of here alive. These guys hate him. Rooster looked up at them. You're irate. His fury fizzles upon spotting the thug's various and ample cutlery. No, wait, I can make you rich. It's like you two are looking to get hurt. The gangster looks you over. No ink, no suits. You one of them runners? Shit, a runner? Don't let him take off with Rooster. He reaches for his weapon. Get him. places for cover. Rooster Louse is useless. Let's see. Yeah, do that to increase the drone's accuracy. Before you looms a formidable cast iron door. It's locked. Your means of escape just behind it. You notice the keypad mounted on the wall, but you have no key code. Quick scan reveals a potential weak spot on the door's hinges. You have a feeling you could get through, but it's going to take a while. Have Duncan smack it around. He leans in and taps the door's hinges, tests them with a whack. Yeah, I can open it. But this ain't the movies, and it's going to take me more than a kick to bash it in. I'll need you to cover me. The Talon bursts out of Shangri-La, nearly tearing the door from their hinges. Despite the fleshy lumps that have transformed from his face into an unreadable, swelling mess, his rage is clear. At the sight of the Talon, you see Rooster's body relax, his voice cracks. Talon, I'm over here. We've got weapons trained on me. I can't move. Save me, and we'll get out of here. Take this incident straight to the top. They'll herald our survival, reward us. Through leaking eyes, the Talon homes in a Rooster. You little shit. Dragging me to this restaurant over and over, making me eat filth, or watch you stuff your goddamn face full of it. And now here you are, turned traitor and blink. Rooster is trembling with fear or anger, or both. He raises a finger and points at the Talon. You can't speak to me like that. You're beneath me. I'm still a red pole. When the Triad comes for me, I'll see you flayed for those words. Ha! The laugh punches through the air. The Talon's lips curve into a clumsy smile, eyes gleaming. You won't get shit from the 289s. In fact, if your new allies don't gut you, the Triad will. Make sure you don't go squawking to anyone about high-level plans or security or whatever. A flea like you won't last the night. Rooster's fake bravado melts away, eyes wide. He looks desperately around him, trapped like a mouse in a snake's coil. Enemies on each side. His voice is small, pleading. Talon, Johnny, please help me. It wasn't all bad, right? We've had some good runs. You remember? Panic shakes him. I had no choice, Johnny. I was forced to surrender. But you felt me get me out of here. I can see that you're rewarded, even promoted. How would you like that? Without hesitation, the Talus makes a step forward and spits on the ground. To hell with you, you spineless pit pusher. I bet you didn't even put up a fight. Just rode over and played the captive, coward. I'm gonna enjoy planting a bullet in your soft, worthless skull. He readies his weapon. Now, Rooster is pretty well hated, isn't he? He's poisoned. They got a sniper coming in. Nothing I can't handle. I think she has a grenade launcher, it looks like. They have a lot more guys. Enough for that guy. Activate the drone. That's pretty good. Yeah. Spirit. over here so he can be a target. And Rooster Louse is going to stay over here. Oh, we just got to see the grenade arm in action. That worked out really well. Love her own accuracy, I guess. That's a pretty good move. Increase its accuracy. That was a good hit. Again, used to stay there. Those shots missed. That one hit though. Can't do anything, which is good. Reload. And then we only have 2 guys left. There's Talon down. Him in here. There we go. Now we can leave. That was a pretty easy run. pretty straightforward too, which is why I wanted to do it. The boat sways atop the water. Insulated walls strife outside noise, as if the chaos just beyond the door belonged to another world. Its interior is cramped, made smaller by maritime equipment protruding from the walls. The scent of sea and molding wood dominates your senses, ripened from years of pre-factory cleaning, functionatory cleaning. Finally, a safe place to rest. Rooster flinches at your approach. When he speaks, he tries to sound confident, but his voice cracks. The 289s are going to jam you up for this. Doubt it. With you out of the way, someone's probably nabbed your job by now. Worst you'll get is dead. Worst we'll get is a finger waggle. But so long as the hand is also holding our new in, we're in good position. Can you say the same? He flashed Rooster a smile. Things are not looking good for you, Mr. Lau. Best you stop running that mouth of yours. Yeah. That first one was a nightmare, and it was just bad planning on my part, the entire thing. The boat heaves and pitches over the bay as your driver plows through the choppy waves to the drop-off point, leaving Shangri-La Restaurant far behind. Inside, restlessness fills the cabin. You finished the job. The extraction was a success. And now your client awaits his prize, the Triad Red Pole Rooster. It wasn't easy. It should have been. It would have been if that damn Talon hadn't mangled your plans with his visceral determination. But even a street-forged orc like the Talon could be stricken down. With the Talon dead, your escape from the restaurant to the getaway boat was made smoother. Well, as smooth as warding through a small army of triads and skidding the HKPF dragnet could be. Luckily, Rooster got through the pursuit unharmed, and with the Talon now permanently out of commission, you earn a few extra new yen for your client. All in all, a good run. It was. Your calmly chirps. It's kindly Chang. Hello, Auntie. Hello, my darling. There's a thrill in her voice that you haven't heard before. Come see me at once. I have something I want to show you. Your crew is already here. I'll be there right away. Very good, my sweet, very good. I'll see you shortly. And that's the first part of the storyline progressing. We'll go collect our new yen. And then we'll go to her. See what she wants. Are they not gonna let me? Guess I have to talk to her first. Oh well. We'll talk to Auntie and then we'll talk to that guy. Then we'll get back out there. As you walk through the Mahjong parlor, you see your crew waiting for you, clearly uncomfortable to be so close to the Triad boss. Then you see why. Kindly Chang's cheeks are flushed and glowing. She's already hit the bottle pretty hard. Ah, even before you're here. Excellent. Let's get to it, shall we? You said you had a lead, Auntie? I did, and I do. Kindly Chang takes out her PDA and gently places it on the table in front of her. The wire tap we place on the police force has borne fruit. Her mouth breaks into a wolfish grin. Her eyes take on a feral gleam. She appears fueled by alcohol and vengeance, a hungry beast on the hunt. My people have delivered a snippet of your recorded video call between the Plastic Man Face and Chief Inspector Karat of the Special Duties Unit. Whoa. This should be good. Should we take a seat? Unfortunately, it's only a snippet. There are some technical difficulties with the tap. She glances at Bao, who nods back at her. The person responsible has been sacked. Chang reaches out a lacquered fingertip, hunts for the button she's looking for, and stabs it in victory. There's a loud clanking noise at the beginning of the recording, followed by a squitching squeal that makes Gobbet cover her ears in pain. When the video record begins, the man's voice sounds far away, as if he's talking through a thick pane of glass. The woman is louder, closer. Say that again, there's something wrong with this line. I said, my client isn't interested in hearing more excuses, Inspector. That's what I thought she said. I'm not making excuses, mister. I have a department to run. That's not much better. If those two Westerners aren't found, they're linked to this Raymond Black somehow. My client wants them out of the circulation immediately. The two runners are his accomplices too. The little orc and the dwarf with the cyber deck. The dwarf, not the dork. Gabbett looks at Isabel wide-eyed and swallows hard. Isabel winks back reassuredly. I'm aware, Inspector. Thank you. We don't know much any of them know. My client is adamant that the risk be mitigated immediately. I've already made this the SDU's highest priority. If Josephine wants more resources on it, I'm going to need allocations from elsewhere in the department. That is a problem that can be easily dealt with. My client wants this over now. No more excuses, no more fuck-ups. No more cops floating in the river. Kindly Chang smiles at that and pours herself a shot. Tell her we're redoubling our efforts. Very good. Dead or alive, you bring them to me. My client requires my personal verification that the threat has been eliminated. Hang on. This line is getting worse. There's a sharp crackle and the recording ends. Kindly Chang picks up her PDA and puts it away with a smile. She unscrews the cap on her bottle, pours herself a shot with a flourish. The guy we saw in the surveillance footage, the one who killed Raymond Black. She leans into the PDA. The plastic face looks a lot cooler up close. I think it's kind of pretty. That video doesn't tell us much. I mean, we already know that there's an APB on us. All we're sure of now is the man with the plastic face is definitely working for someone else. This Josephine. Is all we have, Auntie? A first name? It's not just a first name, Gobbet dear. It is the first name. Josephine Sang. She's the one pulling the strings. Kindly drowns her shot and slams the glass upside down on her table. The disease-ridden dog fucker. I should have known it was her from the beginning. She drums her finger on the table in front of her. She has the nerve to call down the heat on my runners, on Nightjar. Oh, that Scroobius fossil is going to pay. Scroobius. I don't recognize the name. Chang makes a wet hacking noise at the back of her throat and spits on the floor. She's the CEO of Sang Mechanical Services and a member of the Hong Kong Executive Council. Her face turns to a mask of disgust. Josephine Dog fucking Sang. CEO, huh? What do you know about her? She was Hong Kong's Philanthropist of the Year in 2054 and 2055. Children's hospitals, homeless shelters, food distribution centers, good causes, and the kind that gets good PR because people are too lazy, myopic, to look for the real people doing the hard work. The face-to-face with the poor work. Don't be so clinical, Isabel. Auntie smiles at her sweetly. Coming to face-to-face with the unsanitized for video poor is distasteful, dear. You know that. Her face gets stony. Beyond being a CEO and a philanthropist, I also know Josephine Sang is a lying, conniving bitch. Sounds like you two have history together. Whatever gave you that impression, my sweet? Her wolfish smile returns. Yes, my darling. I don't like Josephine Sang, and I'm going to fuck her up. I'm going to fuck her up bad. Oh, this should be good. It'll be delicious. And I may explain why someday, but not today. She picks up her bottle of swill. Its turpentine fumes drift your way. But when I finally get her, you'll be there, my darling. I'll make it a party. What is Sang Mechanical Services? Josephine's baby. It was a B-rated corporation before she married into the Sang family, but after she fought for and won the contest to reboot Kulon Walled City, their fortunes rose high. Yeah, she apparently really does. They begin to rise to power that eventually landed Josephine on the executive council. Wait, so there's a connection between Josephine Sang and the Walled City? Yes, the same place Raymond Black hired my runners to take him. I already connected the dots. I don't know what it means, but it clearly means something. What do you think the connection between Josephine Sang and this plastic-faced man? I don't know yet, but I will. He called her his client. This may be some sort of lead we can follow. Chang nods at Wu. Her glance lingers at his biceps a moment before continuing. Right now, all we know is that he is her instrument. The one who killed Raymond Black. Raymond's not dead. Yes, you may have mentioned that before, Gunshow. She smiles at him reprovedly. Regardless, the plastic-faced man is our best lead for figuring out what's going on. What's our next step? There's nothing we can do to touch Josephine Sang, as much as I hate to admit it. But as a plastic-faced man is a different story. He's a third-party operative who's been careless, and he'll live to regret it. Her little black eyes turned stony. For a while. If Sang thinks she can take out two of my runners and get away with it, I'm going to have to explain things to her. She pulls out a thin black cigar and runs it beneath her nose. We're going to find the plastic-faced man, and we are going to hurt him. We'll hurt him until we know everything he does, and then we'll use that to strike back at Josephine Sang. You'll have your vengeance, and I'll have my own satisfaction. She turns away and picks up the bottle. Now get out. I have work to do. Story's moving along. We'll talk to this guy to get information for his job. A rotund, balding dwarf in a cheap suit turns to face you. Lights glance off the heavy gold chains that hang around his neck. When he speaks, the voice that greets your ears is high and nasal, and has been contorted into a rough approximation of a New York accent. Pleased to meet ya. Chang was kind enough to arrange this little sit-down between us. He extends a slab-like hand for you to shake. You can call me Dr. Xing Yang. Shake his hand. Pleased to meet you, I'm Evil 4. His grip is as soft as his palm is moist. It's like shaking hands with a boneless ham. They get really creative with how they just describe stuff, don't they? What other kind of dwarf is there? The tall, skinny ones, I guess? They're very rare, you know. Probably delicacy to some people. You share a long, uncomfortable, flaccid handshake before he finally releases you. I'm looking for a little outside help on a problem I've been having. Ordinarily, I'd handle it myself, or have some of my friends see to it, but it's kind of delicate, you know. My guys be noticed before they made any headway on my problem, so I figure, hey, I'll hire contractors this time. Might as well get some contractors of a different stripe. Lasting friendships are made through favors exchanged. I'm all ears. I run a little studio, Southern Crown Films. We mostly do trade work, but we record some sims too. Maybe you've seen some of my stuff. Space Mongols from the Moon, The Flavor of Pomegranates, Ultimate Kill Squad. No, but I like the sound of Ultimate Kill Squad. How much killing do they do? He offers you a chip-tooth grin. A lot. There's this one scene where two trolls gain up on an elf and well, I don't want to spoil it. Believe me, it's glorious. I'll send a copy over to Chang so that you can take a look. Anyway, there's this other guy in the industry, and we've been butting heads since day one. Name's Naval Ma. He runs the Yellow Spring Studios. No matter what I do, I can't shut him out of the biz. He's always managing to get one over on me, steal my stars. He's been running me to the ground with this show called Promises in Moonlight. The star is a girl named Penelope Wong. New talent, but the viewers have been going nuts over her. She's the show's linchpin. Hang on, I'm getting there. So about 6 months ago, Neville was out in Guangzhou for some hoity-toity party. He's on the road, probably drunk. A semi comes out of nowhere and pow! wrecks his fancy new Euro car Westwood. Bad luck for Neville. Bad luck for Neville. Good luck for me. I figure, hey, that's the end of him for the year. I'll start planning some new stuff he can't compete with from inside a hospital. You follow me so far? Let me guess, he found some way to compete with you from the hospital? Yeah, kinda gross. No worse, the bastard is out of the hospital. He's back in the game, bringing out 2 seasons of Promises and Moonlight. I need that show off the air one way or the other. And that, my friend, is where you come in. How long did it take him to recuperate? I tell you, kid, he should have been in the hospital for at least 3 months and in physical therapy a lot longer. Only took him a week to get out. Couldn't freaking believe it. That kind of medical care costs top dollar. He's got a lot of money, but not that much. Recovery like that means... Recovery like that means that one of 2 things is going on. Neville could have found himself a silent partner, someone willing to pay top dollar for cutting-edge care. I don't think it's likely, but it could have happened. If it ain't that, the smart money says he's been skimming off the top of Yellow Spring's earnings and now reporting it to the other shareholders. And you want me to look into it, I take it? I need you to go get me something to blackmail Neville with. Find out how he could afford to get out of the hospital so fast. He works out of his penthouse most days, so searching his computer, closet, sock drawers, whatever. There's gotta be something incriminating there. Where is this penthouse? Neville lives in the Repulse Bay. It's this real swanky joint on the south end of Hong Kong Island, by the bay with the same name. I haven't been able to get anybody in to poke around his apartment because the security's too tight. Luckily for you, though, Neville's throwing a party on the mezzanine level with all the shops and a restaurant and balcony and such. He's celebrating the 2nd season launch of his show, and everyone's going to be there, going to make a real snarl for the building security. You might also want to hit up the party if you can bluff your way in. Everyone close to Neville will be there. And most of them will be 3 sheets to the wind by the time you get there. Some discreet questioning might give me the dirt I need. Just remember, if you go to the party, don't use your real name. Go with Argyle. Should be safe enough. There's nobody in the biz out there with that name. There's nobody who asks any questions about how your work's going. Hit the apartment, hit the party, dig up blackmail information on Neville Ma. Sounds easy enough. He nods vigorously. Oh yeah, Chang talked you up when I approached her with the job. Given what she's told me, this job should be cake. Now, the blackmail material is what I need more than anything. But if you can get Penelope Wong out of her contract, I'll pay you extra. Got it? I want that star power on my side. One last thing. I don't want you starting a scene while you're there. You come to interrupt his party, make a mess, or trash his apartment, I'm not paying you. We clear on that? We're clear. Good. I haven't had Ma knowing that I can't have Ma knowing I'm after him. In my business, everyone got dirty tricks. But if you make it public, you're using them? Dr. Xing Yang draws a finger across his throat. That's it. My career as dead as the People's Republic of China. Nobody work for or with me ever again. So don't embarrass me, hey? Understand. I'll be discreet. That's what I like to hear. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You can get paid, and I'll pull the word out you're a solid hire. Sounds like we have a deal then. His grin widens. Good man. That's what I'd like to hear. When you're done, drop Shang a line. I'll come meet back here and hand over the money. Whew. Okay, now I can go get my money from the rooster job. Job dictionary. The client is pleased with how you handled the situation. Rooster Lau has been very concrete and forthcoming, due in no small part to the violence with which you handled the opposition. You even earned a little extra taken out of the talent. Your payment is attached. Do we have any pending jobs? No, it doesn't look like it. See how much did we get? Oh, we got quite a bit. I need to look and see what we got. See, from Gobbet to Evil 4. Hey, Seattle, I think I can add a little context to that thing between Auntie and Joseph Sang. You know, the thing that makes Auntie hit the sauce and talk revenge? This is a combo of stuff I heard and stuff I put together myself, so your mileage may vary. For years, the Yellow Lotus acted as tax collectors within the Walled City. Since the Walled City was built by Joseph Sang and the Yellow Lotus was run by Auntie Chang, they must have had a working business relationship for a while, at least. From what Nijar told me, he was her favorite, you got that right? Auntie was known as a real up-and-comer back then. She was on the fast track to be the next Yellow Lotus 438. That's a big deal gig, Seattle. Money and power galore. Now you need to know that there were a lot of trids and corps doing business in the Walled City. All sorts of stuff. Sometimes they worked together nicely and sometimes people got bloody. The way I heard it, Auntie came up with some sort of grand plan to consolidate business in the Walled City. The powers would be split between the Yellow Lotus and the Sang Company, and everyone else would get a cut of it, if her plan worked. Auntie would raise in the Lotus like nobody's business, and Joseph Sang would make a long bank. There was a catch, though. In order for the plan to work, both women needed to jump through a lot of hoops. There would be street-level maneuvering and power plays on Auntie's side and blackmail negotiations on the corporate level from Joseph Sang. More info gets stretchy from here. From what I've pieced together, Sang went behind Auntie's back and took her plan to her boss, a 483 named Wong Lung Fat. They cut kindly out of her own plan. Why'd Sang do that? My guess is that she saw Auntie as some sort of threat. People in the know say that Wong Lung Fat is weak and greedy. She can be manipulated if her palms remain well greased. Long story short, power was consolidated in the Walled City, just like Auntie planned, only she didn't wind up getting any of it. Her climb up the Lotus ladder came to an abrupt halt. She's still a straw sandal, just like she was before Sang backstabbed her. And now she's stuck in Hoi like a fly in amber. I'd be pissed too if it were me. Gobbet. Okay. And then there's another 400 there. So we should have about 2,000 now. Yeah. 2,100 Union. Let's see, level up first, because I think leveling up unlocks more options. Last few times we put a lot more into our decking. But I think I'll wait before I do that again. I think I need to put more into my stuff here so I can get better stuff. Let's see. Now we'll bring up quickness to 6. Probably won't do much else there. We'll pull point into dodge. We'll talk to Law first, see what he has. And we'll go talk to the gun supplier, and then if we have anything left, I'll talk to the doctor, see if there's any cyberware I want. See, I don't really care about what he's saying. This is all stuff I think I already have. Let's see what he got. So he has the next level of Cyber Deck. There's 2 different options. Something to look forward to in the future. Yeah, some 2.0 programs too. Definitely get the upgraded killer. Doesn't have the better. Okay, let's go talk to the gun person. Want to talk? Let's see. So that's what I have. Or no, that's too expensive. That's some really expensive stuff. That's all sniper rifles. So that's what I got right there. This thing can sell enough. I don't really care about that. Don't need that anymore. I don't know if now I could get a better gun. I'll wait before I get a gun. I'll see what we can get cyberware wise. If there's anything there I particularly want. If there's nothing there I particularly want, I'll come back and get a better gun. I think it sold automatically. Because yeah, it would be in the mission items if I still had it. And when I picked it up, I think I got 15 yen automatically. I don't think I need to worry about the fish. So we can get cyberware wise. Something like that might not be a bad idea. Increase my ranged combat. That'd be nice. Extra armor and be able to regenerate. I'll have to save up for that. Maybe get that next pay. That's not a bad one either. +1 movement. When triggered, you will dodge the first attack against you. Each round lasts 3 rounds. That's not bad. If I was doing more melee, I'd definitely go with that. I'll go and get a new gun. Save up and get the cyberware that gives extra regeneration after the next job. Yeah, I saw the better eyes too, but I think I'd rather go with the gun. Something that does a little bit more damage than what I have. I'm going to get a Smart Link one. They'll already have a bonus to hit. Let's see. That does 1 more damage, but this one pierces armor. It says improved accuracy with the Smart Link, but I think that's true with every one. So it comes down, you know, when armor piercing are slightly more damage. The gun I have does 9 damage. Yeah. I think I'd rather pierce armor. Because enemies with a lot of armor can be kind of an issue if you're not prepared for them. That. Sell my Ode gun. I might be able to get 9 new eyes. Let's see, I have a better killer. So get rid of firewall. I don't like firewall. Yeah, I won't get rid of killer 1.0 since we have the 2.0. Now I think I can get the better eyes for an even more increased accuracy. We're going to be doing the Wampo and Garden one next, which is like a murder investigation. So close. Needs a little bit more. Let's see what we can possibly sell to get a little bit more money. Let's get that. I'm never really using that shotgun. Sell that too. Okay, now we should be able to get. Only get the one that's +6. I'll get this eye. It's +6 to hit from the eyes. I don't remember the plus for the Smart Link. I think it's either +3 or +5. No, it might be more or less than that. That might also depend on the type of gun you have. So we have 3 things. We'll do the Wampoa Gardens. It's a good idea to do the Wampoa Gardens case run before doing the party one, because it changes the outcome. We should be able to finish this up by the end of the stream. If not, we'll be pretty close. Wampoa Garden, a carnival of chrome and neon, rife with every manner of technology and artifact that one can imagine. The entire area has the feel of a night market, save that chips are sold in lieu of steamed buns, and vendors hawk the latest drones rather than folk art. Something stalks these streets, hiding just out of sight. It stalks the Wampoan elders, the leaders of the band of tech-savvy squatters that have claimed this neighborhood as their own. The streets smell of ozone and fear, and those Wampoans you pass in the MTR station have a haunted, furtive look in their eye. Why the killers have struck only the elders thus far. It may only be a matter of time before these ordinary residents are menaced as well. Okay. The streets of Wampoa Garden are slick with rain, glittering under the neon glow of the mirrored signs and holographic displays. The sky reflects the same glow, painting the white apartment blocks the sickly orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meats mingled with other rarer scents, ozone, engine oil, the high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of street vendors and touts, urging people into their stores. Gopik stretches her arm out, turning in a circle. Welcome to the wonderful world of Wampoa. Seriously, that's what they call the boat. Mall. Whatever. Why the hell did someone build a mall shaped like a boat? At a guess, it's because it's memorable. What other reasons could there be? When the economy tanked after the crash of 29, the techno fetishist tribes started squatting in it. They've been here ever since. Nunkin. No, you stand around here in the rain then. Come on, let's see what the elders have to say. I want to see something. Yeah, the model's eyes are too small to see if there's a difference now that we have cyber eyes. Oh well, that's what I figured. The Orc woman is fascinated with small circuits, tiny screens, and speakers. The trid screens display snippets of trid broadcasts from every corner of the world. The tiny speakers play counterpoint with a susurrus of voices speaking tons of languages. I can't pronounce the ones they have here. I'm not sure how to pronounce them properly. Her expression is haggard, and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. Welcome, welcome to the Wampoa, my friend. I am Elder Nig. Her name is literally says NG with no vowels or. Don't look how we look around. Her name is literally NG Nig. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. There's no vowels or anything. Nig. I don't know. Weird old people with weird non-existent names that don't make sense. And these are elders Tang and Ip. She gestures to the elf and human, who each incline their heads respectively. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We had nowhere else to turn. It's the least I can do. Under Tang's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move on to dragons. We're under threat. One by one, we elders are being hunted by some monster. As you may have noted when you arrived, there's been another killing just tonight. Nung. I don't think that's any better. I'll refer to her as she or something else. But yeah, that's weird name. Ip crosses his Solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surfaces, displaying diagnostic information about their state, operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minutiae. He has the bearings of someone who can handle himself in a fight. I'm certain you have some questions to ask, and we'll do our best to tell you what we know. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. The first to go was Gan. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. Nig. Nug. Nug. Whatever. Swallows, grimacing at the painful memory. He's been torn apart. His head has been ripped completely off, and most of his skin flayed away. There was so much blood it took us weeks to clean out his apartment. Tang nods, running his palm over his forehead. The rest have been the same. Always at night, always dismembered. Each scene is like a nightmare. And every time, nobody has seen anything. It's like a ghost. IP. Yeah. What happened to Tong? The same thing happened to the rest of the victims, eviscerated and dismemberment. We sent a guard to keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He locked up his shop, but Ip stopped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked and inside. Nig lifts her head hopelessly. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Her name makes it really hard to say serious while reading these. Seeing her inability to continue, Ip takes over. Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like all the other murders. It had to have happened after sundown, because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Why didn't you call the police? The Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to pin a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and triads. Handle their major security, fix up their gear, make sure they have access to Hong Kong's Shadowland hubs. We're too vulnerable a resource for them to lose, so they protect us when the HKPF or anyone else decides we are an easy target. They handle our physical security, and we make sure to send the message via the Matrix. The last time the HKF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the Trid. They got the picture and backed off. Have you made any enemies lately? She shrugs hopelessly. Not that I can think of. We keep to ourselves. We buy and sell technology. We're not mercenaries or criminals. We're merchants and deckers. Even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery, it's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too. Just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. What do the Wampoan elders do? I am the invoker of spirits. I commune with the spirits and machines, ask them for blessings, pass those blessings onto the people here. I heal the sick and ensure the feng shui of our habitats is as good as it can be given our confines. So a weird and rare mix there. So like a shaman decker, very rare from what I understand of the lore, considering magics require essence and you at least need a data jack to deck with, and the more cybered up, more your cyberware you have, the lower your essences. So it takes. The way they handle it in this, I believe what they do is they make it so the cooldown's longer. So it's like for every point of essence you lose, that's an extra round of cooldown for your spells. So if you use up, say, 3 essence on cyberware, that's like doubling the more than doubling the cooldown on most of your spells. I'm not sure what other effects they have. I haven't tried that kind of build. Tang extends his arms, palm up, as you watch that twos then shift into a complex mathematical formula. I am the first and glorious servo. I study patterns, repair machinery, and teach others how to attune themselves to the wonders of automation. The blessed AutoFab is my shop and preview, where we make the drones we use and sell. Okay. Really? What a fascinating and spiritual spin on things. Ractor inclines his head towards Tang. I'd be interested in hearing more about your philosophy once we're done with the job. I might find your perspective to be very interesting. As for me, I serve as the resplendent voltage spike. Ib smiles crookedly. That means I shoot people who try to screw with us. It's a fancy title for head of security. That's all for now. It might be wise to ask the residents of Wumpo Garden if they've seen or heard anything. After you've gone to Tong's sensory carnival, they may have seen or heard things we have not. Good to know. Interesting group. Check around down here. Borderland at your service. The elders told me you'd be coming. The elders told me you'd be coming. They tell you what happened to Tong? Just the basics. Well, nothing's basic about this. I've seen people shot, stabbed, beaten to death. Hell, I even seen a corpse that was so dry and desecrated I could have sworn a vampire got to it. None of that's got anything on this. Brace yourselves. Going in. Tong Sensory Carnival looks like a scene out of B-grade slasher sim. The cloying scent of incest hangs thick and pungent in the air, emitting from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the ragged remains of Elder Tong littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order, at least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you're about to step further into the room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tong's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread throughout the walls and ceiling as well. Tong's body is a ruined mess. The destroyed ruins of his face is barely recognizable, and what is left of his body would best be described as savage. All his limbs have been torn off. A pile of flayed skin lies next to the remains of the Wumpoan elder. The Wumpoan's clothing has all but been reduced to rags and tissues by cuts and tears, apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body is a semblance. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body into a semblance of a human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Gobbet puts a hand to her mouth, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Sweet heaven, Evil 4. I haven't seen anything like that since Auntie Wong tried to stash some cred sticks in a devil's rat nest. It takes a lot to turn my stomach, but we sure have a winner tonight. This is seriously messed up. I second that. This is a murder. This is like, I don't know, a feeding frenzy. If it wasn't for the skin, I'd say Tong stepped onto a goddamn landmine. Have Rector examine the body in detail. Rector takes his time examining the body, taking small notes on his PDA. Curious. No subdermal bruising where the skin's been removed, no signs of struggle. Coagulation of blood in lividity marks a time of death between 2 and 4 hours ago. The knife marks are methodical. The killer doesn't seem to have been interested in preserving the skin as any kind of whole that was removed, a bit like one fillets a fish, the path of least resistance. Some of the strips of skin have more ragged edges than others. The ragged edges look consistent with a claw rather than a blade. Raptor makes a curious noise as he examines the remains of Tong's face and neck. The neck has been severed between the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. Scoring across the bone indicates a bladed weapon. A sharp one at that. Doesn't match any of the other wounds. Hector stands and looks at Jericho in the eye. If I had to guess, I'd say he was killed with a blow to the back of the neck. Everything else was subsequent afterwards. damage done afterwards. You think the attack was meant to subdue him? Honestly, I have no idea. Perhaps whatever did the rest of the damage was secondary, an action of opportunity or the like. Without further information, I'm not comfortable guessing. Have Gobbet sense the body. You're the boss, man. This is gonna be unpleasant. Gobbet closes her eyes, taking a deep breath. After a moment, she opens them again and makes a strange, grunting noise. There's no fear or evil for, no anger either, just this kind of satisfied feeling. Tong never saw it coming. Whoever did it was professional about it, which is pretty odd because nobody's professional about eviscerating a body as far as I know. You mean the murderer wasn't some kind of animal attack? I don't know why the killer was after Tong, but it definitely wasn't any kind of mindless creature, or even someone particularly passionate. It was somebody who planned this and executed and was glad about it. I don't know, it kind of feels like it was just business as usual. The walls are covered in splattered and smeared blood, most of which has hardened into a crusty, congealed paste. Thick tracks of it run laterally. It looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey, Evil 4. I don't know a whole lot about science and all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits a wall. This isn't natural. Somebody deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it got paint? It looks like it's got paint trails? That's because somebody used Tong's parts like a paintbrush. So they painted his walls with blood? Why? Do I look like a psychologist to you? Yeah, because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of those sick serial killers that see their murders as art? I got no clue. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Hey, you think that's strange? You ought to see the kind of sims that are coming out of Kolkata these days. They took the poly POV tech and then collapsed all the carrier signals into one point of V. You're like four people at once. And the underground gigs do black jobs, you know, where they kill one of the point of V's. Sick stuff. That is pretty sick. Let's search the bathroom first. Tong's bathroom is immaculate, and the drains are tiny. Whatever killed him didn't exit through here. Tong's desk drawers are open. The safe built into one side has been opened. There's no sign of tampering, and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any money on them. Looks like someone looted the stash. A guy like this wouldn't keep only empty cred sticks in his safe. This is a Yamaha 95,000V SimSynth, a device for mixing and mastering SimSynth chips. Several drive bays are empty and all the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message warning. Requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. Debug the system. Banging away at the SimSynth keyboard, you manage to suspend the drive error warning for a time. Digging into the guts of the machine recent files, you manage to kick it into a diagnostic mode. Why it's not as good as having access to the full system. Maybe you can learn something anyways. Memory okay, drive error. Assist bus okay, beginning core dump, please wait. The long debug spews that scrolls across the synth screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play lengths, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's SimSynth has been hacked to remove the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning. The required operation to make BTL chips. The data wave output for these chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. The file catalog for a high peak BTLs indicate all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives, and whatever was in the empty chip shack. Someone cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. I think that's all we can get from here for now. Yeah. Hey there, need something? It looks like someone's been through Tong's things. Has anyone been inside? Nonsense, I've been here. Before Ip found him, could have been anybody, really. Ip had a key to his place, but the lock's total crap. Anybody half decent at cracking mag locks could have gone inside. What's missing? His BTLs, hard drives, and cred sticks are all missing. Sounds like the killer looted his place to me. All the stock of monsters, yeah, sure. There's some scary things that go bump in the night, but most of the scary bumps I hear are from handguns and gangers. No one over here I can talk to. The Sark is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it out towards you. Hey, stranger, nice to see you. Zippy, toe tag at your service. How you like him up garden? I'm Evil 4. Nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures expansively at the squad-lit neon-lit streets garden. This is my home, or at least for the time being. I'd like to stop these killings. We never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy while I was left. Elders gone and elders Dukamara after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So, since I didn't know you, and I can smell a Shadowrun a mile away, you got to be the outsider that has to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Very astute. That's right. See, I've got good eyes. A lot of good eyes, actually. If you're in the market for replacements only slightly used, they only come from certified donors, I swear. Your hearty belly laugh emits from the orc, and he slaps his thigh in elation. Man, I kill myself. Pretty funny, you a stand-up comedian? With jokes like that, are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other bones healthy. Gotta practice down the road. Blind Chin's a pretty good cyber doc, but he's basically an implant specialist and that's it. How'd you end up here? I did my residency back in UCAS. Could have made a real MD too, if things haven't gone south for unrelated reasons. He opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. He pats it soundly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than I see. Wampoa Garden seems like a good fit for me. You must have a lot of customers. That's the chip truth. I have to charge to cover my costs and eats, but it's damn near free service. There's always a waiting list, but it's good, honest work. I like helping my neighbors in the community. We all look out for each other. Somebody messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is rare as gold these days. How many places have an ethos like us? Not the damn corpse, that's for sure. I lived at a lot of places, done my fair share of Shadowrunning, but this place is special. Been a long time since I felt like anywhere was a real home. Zippy looks off past you towards Wampoa Garden streets. The expression grows wistful, like I remembered something from a long time ago. I'm sure I'll move again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. So it's fairly peaceful around here? For the most part, other than these killings. We don't have much by way of problems. We do information security for the triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit them in the matrix, while our triad friends hit them in the meat space. Some small-time gains had tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tang and his guys. But with both the Red Dragon and the Red Lotus. They got the message real quick, what was left of them anyways. Let me ask you about the gardens. What are your thoughts on the murders? There's a sharp intake of breath as MP shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gon died from a broken neck. Looks like someone had wrenched it around. His arms and legs are cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by something with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil rat. The teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at Utindi. From what I saw at a distance, it was the same story. It didn't see much point, since I've seen it twice already. As for Tong, from what Porter told me, he was gone, take it all over again. You take a look at him? Yeah, same as you described the others. Damn, I like Tall. The BTL business is unsavory, but the man had to eat. And his regular Sims were great. Generally all around nice guy, friendly with everyone. Never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell you. Meat space. Looks like Tong was killed by a blade, not a broken neck or bite. Zippy records, shuddering against the rain. What kind of a blade? Was it a knife, a sword, maybe an axe? Don't know, but he was tacked to the back of the neck. I don't like that at all. Zippy shivers, looking warily around. Though affairs got me on edge. People dying is nothing new, but the flayed skin, ugh. After a moment, Zippy composes himself and looks back at you. It sounds possible that whoever has been killing the elders is trying to muddy the waters with all the blood and gore business. This is the crime of an intelligent, careful killer. Be careful. The investigation might take you somewhere very unpleasant. What can you tell me of the elders? Zippy laughs, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? Nig is the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Wampones, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more followers, and she's something of a priest for the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here. But it's never called to me still. She makes a damn fine pot of tea. Yips the muscle, and has an encyclopedia knowledge of cyberware and bioware. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You got a lot of cyber people start wondering if you tear their arms off. Zippy make a chopping motion with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3: The Reckoning. Terrible movie. Great fighting choreography. About Tong. Tong. Don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. Found him cooing over some trids of automated delivery drones in the warehouse once. He works with drones, has a shop called the Blessed Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement patterns or something. You already know about Tong. Tang and Tong. Similar names. Ran Sims, BTOs, skill chips. Gon used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. Zippy pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment. Trid mostly, spent a lot of time analyzing subliminals and ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker. Oh, hot as hell against IC and built her own hardware. Salty old woman, though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. She was mad most of the time. Wait, nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago she just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass too. She owed me some new analyze software she picked up. Why would she disappear? No idea. One day she was there, the next booth. At first I thought she was on vacation since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday. But it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems highly suspicious to me. Nobody else seems to care what happened to her. Probably because she pissed them all off so bad. Is there any place you think I should start looking? You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the other elders has a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. Even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason not to let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision of what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted a deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her matrix chops. The last big argument was between her, Nig Ip, and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix, and she absolutely refused. She sounds like she didn't care for entertainment taking precedence over her business. That's exactly it. She gave Nakamura an earful. Let me tell you. She said something about it about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyways, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean blocking them? Everybody needs her matrix skills for their business to run properly. There are other deckers, me, Sei, Mo, Jinbi, but she had the infrastructure. If their projects didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. She's a real hard head about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something that has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot if you ask me. Could you let me into her shop? No, can't do, not because I don't want to, because I just don't have the key. You have to get it from him. He's taken over the Matrix infrastructure maintenance since Magpie disappeared. He's not as good as it as she is, or as I am. They're not going to let anyone who isn't an elder take care of that kind of critical stuff. See you later, Zippy. Do a bit more investigation, then we'll talk to the elders again. An imposing troll stands in front of a stall overflowing with weapons of all sorts, pistols, rifles, even brass knuckles overflow onto the rug around him. Oh there. You look like a man who understands the value of self-defense. Bricker Hal, at your service. I can promise you I can help you defend yourself. What do you say? Want to take a look? Let's see what the guy has. Stuff he has is pretty cheap. See, I'm looking for information. Yeah, tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you. What are your impressions of the Wampo and Elders? Can't say I associate with them much. They organize big trade deals, the Lohao Jowa pirates, the Treads, and the legitimate businesses. They tell us someone's been blacklisted and dispense justice when someone breaks the rules. Beyond that, they leave us alone. And I leave them alone, since it's not important enough to register on their radar. You know anything about Elder Magpie? Never met her. Thank God. She ran with the Deckers mostly since she dealt in chips and software. Heard she was hard to work with. I think the praise I've heard was that she shrieked like a harpy with a fresh corpse. I don't know. You should ask Zippy though. He's a sharp one with a deck. So he'd know her better than most. Aside from Tong, who slings BTLs around here? The Red Spear Gang. They run up in here sometimes, but don't cause any trouble. Check out the parking garage south of here, though. They usually hole up in there. Step light, though. They don't know you, and you cop an attitude. They'll put you in the ground. Funny thing, I heard there was a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away in Beijing at the time, so I didn't see it directly, but everyone was talking about it when I got back. Why is that funny? Because you don't let the HKPF in here, most times. We shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us. Because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. Know anything about the murders? Just the elders have been getting hacked apart. I try to stay away from it all. No sense painting the crosshairs on my own forehead, right? The Tro shrugs indifferently. I'm nobody important, and I am keep it that way. The man in front of this stall is rooting through a box of music chips with swift fingers for someone who knows. With swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of disoriented, atonal music. The stall's proprietor is nowhere to be seen. Can you believe this? They got 4 bootlegs of Exelon 60. The unreleased Inoculon Keys double chips show from Brazil. Brazili. But absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff is purely second rate. Hey man, don't get down on Echelon 60. I saw them when they played that on-licensed show at the Ode Chowco Tart Factory out in Sungwon. That show was amazing. Even the police had to break it up midway through the second set. The music of the aficionado waves his hand dismissively. The show might have been great, but come on, Echelon 60's those news are already being mainstreamed. I saw a Trid ad for the new Mitsubishi Ostro scooter, and they were using Main Volt on their bus is the backing music. Made me sad, I tell you. Decker inclines his head towards you. Mojinibi, at your service, Decker. Decker, technologist, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't know yourself as a native. Not with Poe Gardens, no. Mo runs a hand through his hair, shaking the collective rain off of it. Thought so. What brings you here? I'm trying to find out who's been killing the elders. Decker pauses a moment, face falling. Oh, that's a nasty business. Tong died tonight. Don't know who or what they pissed off, but it seems like a really bad scene. I'm trying to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Is there anything I can do to help? What can you tell me about the Wampoans? We're a collection of freaks, geeks, nerds, and tech junkies. This place might look like a third word bazaar. Believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Mo swells with pride and plants both hands firmly on his hips. Maybe it's not as advanced as the stuff the Megas have in their development labs, but it's as advanced as anything you can find in a store. People come from all over the world to buy and sell here, work out deals for big shipments. We got contacts with every pirate and smuggling group in the South China Sea. Every major syndicate and gang in the Free Enterprise Zone knows not to mess with us. Not only are there a lot of us, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. The Red Dragon made a play about 4 years ago, but we chased him out. Mo gestures with both hands as if shooing away a bothersome insect. Scoot off back to home being 10, and they never been back. Good for you, that's how you survive. Okay. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it pissed them off. But then we sold the goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount in exchange. The Yellow Lotus kept them off our backs. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win. You just have to make him step back so the other big guys see he's off balance. Stump fights are for the Megas. We're about survival, just like everyone else in the shadows. You know anything about the murders? I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. I'm not connected enough to hear anything important. All the talk about monsters is just plain dark. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I don't want to get their attention. All I know is a couple months ago we had elders Nakamura, Utundi, Gone, and Magpie. Now we don't. I've heard about Magpie. Sounds like she was kind of vicious. To be blunt, she's a hateful, sewish old badger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She butt heads with the other elders over damn near anything. Okay. The last fight she had was with Tang over something or other. I guess she ended up throwing some of his micro drones into a deep fryer and threatening to kick his ass around the block. What was her line of business? Makeshift gear. Her shop's called the Jackpoint. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips. Made some killer decks for anybody willing to pay her rates. And cosplaying in New Yen, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the only people around here who got along with Magpie. You can probably find him by the MTR station. He loves the Steam button card over there. What's your expertise? I'm a decker. I used to be a company man for many years, pushing codes on their servers, smearing the little cyber pukes that would try to get into our secure systems. I made a good living. Had my own place on the 48th floor in a corporate skyscraper. It's the kind of thing the Sims teach you everybody reaches for, the dream life. How'd you end up here? I found out the company wasn't what I thought it was. Sure, they paid me well and kept me in creature comforts, but I accidentally looked over some misfiled reports by cleaning out a company data store. Turns out one of the company's security riggers had gone drunk and blabbed about some project either over budget and behind schedule. That's not good. It's a fireable offense, right? Mo pauses his lips, his gaze going distant for a moment. I guess upper management was worried info would hurt their stock ratings by a fraction of a point or two. So they fired a guy with a .308 round through the skull. Wait, they shot him over a fraction of a point? Give me a second, my phone went off. And we'll finish talking with this guy and end the stream. May only be a fractions of a point, but that's still tens of millions of Nuyen. I guess that went beyond fire and defense Heraclean to murder territory. What's worse, since I now know about both the project and the murder, I could be next in the firing line. I knew I wasn't worth the expense to hunt down, as long as I kept my head down. So I'm out here looking for like-minded deckers. I'm guessing I ended up staying because I couldn't get a semblance of community out here. I couldn't get that many other places. See you later, Mo. Well, I think I'm going to call and end the stream now. We got a couple good leagues. We need to get the key to look into Magpie. We need to look into the gang and the parking garage and maybe figure out why the HKPF was allowed in there when they're normally not even allowed in the Wampone Gardens. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. Please join me next time about the same time. 8 to 10 next Saturday. And we'll basically continue this probably until we beat it. There is some side stuff that you get through talking with people that I haven't been doing, mostly because I just don't want to talk. Do all the extra talking and doesn't really lead to anything extra. But thank you all for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed it. Bye.